It was a Tuesday morning when the quiet town of Willow Creek woke up to its first murder in nearly 3 decades. A mother of two, beloved in the community, was found lying motionless at the foot of her staircase, her skull fractured. At first glance, it looked like a tragic accident, but the blood spatter told a different story. The victim. The victim was Elaine Porter, 37 years old, a school librarian known for her warmth and patience. Willow Creek, population just under 4,000, was the kind of place where neighbors still waved at each other from porches. Elaine was a fixture of the community, organizing book drives, tutoring kids who struggled to read, and volunteering at church. She lived in a modest two-story home with her husband Daniel and their two children, ages 6 and 9. That's why the discovery on the morning of April 14th shook everyone to their core. Elaine was the last person anyone imagined would meet such a violent end. The crime. Daniel claimed he had gone for an early jog, returning home just after sunrise. He said he found Elaine sprawled at the bottom of the stairs. In the frantic 911 call, his voice cracked, "She must have fallen. There's so much blood." When paramedics arrived, they saw Elaine's body twisted unnaturally. But what caught the lead detective's eye was the blood pattern on the wall. It was high, sprayed, not pooled as it should have been from a fall. And the injury on the back of her head looked like it came from blunt force, not a tumble. Suddenly, the staircase was no longer the culprit. Someone had killed Elaine Porter. The investigation. Detective Maria Vega, who had transferred from the city 2 years prior, led the case. She started with the obvious suspect, the husband. Daniel's alibi was shaky. No one could verify his jog. He also seemed strangely composed at the hospital, answering questions with clipped precision. The community immediately whispered, "Did Daniel do it?" But Vega wasn't convinced to stop there. She pulled Elaine's phone records. Buried in her text history was a string of late-night messages with someone saved only as Jay. The tone was intimate, conspiratorial. Could Elaine have been hiding a secret? The investigation widened. Friends revealed that Elaine had grown distant in recent months. She was stressed, talking less about home and more about needing a change. That's when Vega discovered that Jay was Jordan Hale, a contractor who had been renovating the library. When police interviewed Jordan, he denied any romantic involvement, insisting they were just friends. But inconsistencies piled up. He said he hadn't seen Elaine in weeks, but security footage from a diner on the edge of town showed them together just 2 nights before the murder. Twists and turns. The town turned on Daniel, then on Jordan, with rumors flying daily. Each new clue seemed to incriminate one, then exonerate him. Forensic techs then found something chilling, a faint, bloody shoe print near the staircase. It didn't match Daniel's sneakers. It didn't match Jordan's boots. It matched a third man, a drifter named Kyle Benton, who had been spotted hanging around Willow Creek, doing odd jobs. At first, it seemed cut and dry. Kyle had a minor record, a temper, and he disappeared the day after Elaine's death. Police hunted him for weeks before finally catching him 3 towns over. The community braced for closure. But when tested, Kyle's DNA was not found anywhere in the house. The shoe print, it turned out, was old, a remnant from when he'd done gutter repairs at the Porter home months before. Another red herring. Detective Vega went back to square one. She studied the blood spatter reports again. One fact kept nagging her. The blow that killed Elaine came from behind, yet there was no sign of forced entry, no struggle. Whoever attacked her was someone she knew, someone she trusted enough to let close. The breakthrough. The turning point came when forensic analysts ran luminol tests in the hallway. Hidden beneath a rug was a faint smear of blood leading away from the staircase toward the kitchen. There, in the trash bin, they found a broken ceramic bookend wrapped in a dish towel. Its edges matched the wound in Elaine's skull. Fingerprints covered it. Daniel's fingerprints. When confronted, Daniel broke. He confessed, not in a burst of rage, but in a chillingly calm explanation. Elaine had told him she wanted to leave. She had fallen in love with Jordan and was planning to start over. Daniel, consumed by jealousy and terrified of losing his children, snapped during an argument that morning. He struck her with the bookend, panicked, and staged the fall. The aftermath. The revelation devastated Willow Creek. Neighbors who once defended Daniel now sat in silence at the trial. Elaine's children were left in the care of her sister. Jordan, though cleared of wrongdoing, left town permanently, unable to bear the whispers. Detective Vega later admitted the case haunted her, not just because of the brutality, but because of its ordinariness. It wasn't a monster who killed Elaine, she said. It was her husband, the man everyone thought was safe. Daniel Porter was sentenced to 35 years in prison. For Willow Creek, the murder shattered the illusion of safety. People locked their doors at night. They stopped waving quite as freely. And Elaine Porter's story became the cautionary tale no one in town would ever forget.